Hello everyone, and welcome to another video of mine. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Now, this isn't really a theory video, it's more like a rant or a lore discussion. I'm going to be talking about the future of the Horde and why I'm worried. It's something I've had on my chest for a while now that I wanted to let loose. Now, before I get into what I want to say, I love World of Warcraft and Blizzard, and I don't want to disrespect them. What I am saying is from my very concerned heart. There may also be spoiler talk in this video, so if you want to skip out on my discussion as to why I am worried for the Horde's future, that's alright. This will be coming from a very Horde-biased mouth, and while I do not have hatred for you Alliance, as I once did before, I still prefer the Horde over them. I hope you have a good day, and I see you in the next video, if you're leaving. For the rest of you who are curious souls, let's get into this video. So let's talk about the Horde and what they are firstly, because I feel that's pretty damn important. The Horde is comprised of 7 races: the Orcs, Trolls, Tauren, Forsaken, Blood Elves, Goblins, and Pandaren. These are races not welcomed by the rest of the world of Azeroth. Aliens, misfits, monsters, savages. While they appear as this, they are not defined by it. They have saved Azeroth alongside other heroes from many threats. They too are Azeroth's defenders. Currently, the Horde has gone through several different hands in leadership. For the sake of this video, we will stick only to the new Horde, or Thrall's Horde. This will be subject 1 of what I am worried about, is how they handle the Warchiefs and the Horde leaders currently. Originally, the position of Warchief of the Horde was held by Thrall. And in my opinion, the way they handled this beginnings and end as Warchief were done the best. He rose up from the bottom from being a slave to being a hero and leader of the Horde that they needed. When the world needed him most, he vanished to save it, passing his title down to another and afterwards retiring to spend time with his family. Again, in my opinion, this was done correctly when you look at the other Warchiefs of the Horde has had. After Thrall, you had someone like Garrosh, who handled things very poorly, I am afraid. I actually quite enjoyed the interactions and story of Garrosh, and still enjoy what they gave us. However, it was clearly shown that they wanted to make him become a great figure and leader of the Horde, but they scrapped that, likely due to the response for Thrall being replaced, them not liking the way he treated us or did things to the other leaders and races. So instead, they made Garrosh out to be a villain for the Alliance and the Horde to take down. He was spared, but went on to demand vengeance for losing his right to be the Horde's Warchief, and then was killed by Thrall in Mak'gora. This is where things start turning from a good thing into a very bad thing. After Garrosh was defeated in Mista Pandaria, they decided to name someone else as Warchief, and not an Orc this time. But instead, they made Vol'jin Warchief. This is actually a very good move by Blizzard, and it made, I think, many people happy. Vol'jin earned his place as the leader of the Horde, and as he defended it, he led a rebellion, sought help from outside the Horde, and pushed to retake Orgrimmar for the true Horde. And what do they do with him afterwards? Do they build anything up for Vol'jin and Warlords of Draenor? Of course not, because it's Warlords of Draenor. But surely they'll have something planned for him in the next expansion. Oh yes, they do in fact. They kill him.
Warchief!
Listen, Blizzard, I know you're a great company, I love your stories, I love your games and characters, but seriously? This is what pissed me off the most in Legion. Now, if they did it in a way that made Vol'jin look to be heroic and super awesome, maybe I'd be less pissed about it. But you one-shot him by a random Felguard, you didn't even try and implement someone like Gul'dan or kill Jaden, or some lore figure in killing the guy. Gul'dan killed Varian, after Varian killed a Fel Reaver, fought off several Fel Lords and Felguards, and then was disenchanted by Gul'dan after exhaustion. Blizzard clearly does things right on the Alliance side of things in Legion. I can understand the killing off Garrosh part. That part I can understand because a lot of people didn't like the guy. Sometimes you kill off likable people too, like Varian, but he at least had a backup. He at least had a son you could pass your leadership to. should he die or go MIA. But Vol'jin? Dude barely had a chance to do anything as war chief. Not to mention you have a Blizzard dev tell us that Rokhan was leading the Darkspear after Vol'jin died. Oh, that's great to know. Would have been nice if they had a quest or something that told us that. I mean, come on Blizzard, really? Just really? I am really hoping that you do something with Rokhan next, or as you said at BlizzCon 2016, that you have plans to bring Vol'jin back in some shape or form, because the way you handled Vol'jin's death was terrible. I had feels, don't get me wrong, and the cinematics and music, stunning, but I've got beef with this. But moving on after Vol'jin, after his amazing death, we've got Sylvanas Windrunner named Warchief. Very controversial topic, and I am actually one of the people who is fine with her being made Warchief, but here's where things start to go into spoiler territory and a bit of a speculation. Sylvanas was made Warchief as Vol'jin's pretty much last words. She seemed actually saddened over the loss and was actually frozen when she stood over his throne, where he had died. I always saw the scene as showing some emotion that was left in Sylvanas, but apparently that may no longer be the case. Despite my video showcasing why you shouldn't trust Rare Mothras, which you should check out, Blizzard is likely to turn his words into truthful ones, sadly. Supposedly, Sylvanas swindled her way as the war chief of the Horde by making Vol'jin hear her name rather than whoever the spirits might have been trying to say. This paints Sylvanas as a possible antagonist and possible end boss or raid boss for a future date. Something I do not want again. For crying out loud, Blizzard, I understand she is not the most righteous of characters you have, but come on. You have the opportunity for something great here. Something better than yet another one of your heroes turned bad sort of deals that you guys seem to be very fond of. This is just speculation, again, but I am worried here. I am worried that once more they're going to turn a character that people like, that I like, into something that is an opponent that will drop our loot. Personally, I do not want a repeat of Garrosh. I do not want a raid dedicated to us storming the Undercity and taking out Forsaken lore figures, and then Sylvanas as the end boss. Many of you ask me to make that Jaina Proudmoore corruption video, and I'm not sure if I want to now, because that type of stuff is what Blizzard looks at and thinks that we want that. I wouldn't doubt them if they decide that it would be fair to make Sylvanas and Jaina both crazies. Don't, Blizzard. Just calm down a tad on making heroes into villains. You've plenty of characters who should be baddies, like Magatha. Don't even get me started on her as a 7.2 follower. Magatha deserves to be killed, that one. After what she did to Karen and Bane. Kill that character off, please. But yes, just Blizzard, if you're hearing this, don't make Sylvanas an antagonist, or at the very least, have us save her from the path. Don't repeat history. Don't have another Garrosh. It's something that Varian said, it's something I'm going to say. We do not need another Garrosh incident in the Horde. That's way too soon. Let's move on to a different topic related to this one. Let's talk about the leaders, since it too is a subject I need to get off my chest. In Cataclysm, Blizzard decided to make a bold move by killing off two pivotal characters. One was Magni, who was the king of the dwarves at the time, and he was for the Alliance. And the other was Karen for the Horde, who was leader of the Torn and father of Bane, who's the current leader right now. Now Blizzard did things rather well, as they were both fair, both had enough growth, and they had characters to take up their roles afterwards. Of course, this is all in a book, but still, they did things correctly in my eyes with these two. However, now that we jump to the present, Magni is no longer dead. As it turns out, just being turned to stone or crystals didn't kill the guy, but pushed him closer to Azeroth. Now Magni was, or is, Azeroth's speaker. While no longer a leader of the Alliance, he was still alive. As for Karen, still dead. Now in this case, it doesn't bother me as much as it bothers me over Vol'jin and kind of Garrosh. Not really. Garrosh kind of earned it. He kind of earned that death. Jumping around a bit more, we get to the current leaders of the Alliance and the Horde, present day. The Horde has lost 3 of its leaders, technically 4 when you count Thrall, who's retired, while as the Alliance has only lost 2, and one of them is the voice of the damn Titans, and the other went in a blaze of glory. That's my issue right there. The Alliance has realistically only lost one of its leaders. Now, you could jump on me and say, well, we also lost Bolvar. To me, I never saw Bolvar as an Alliance leader. Dude was cool, died well enough, and went out to become the Lich King. So if you want me to go on that route, one of the Alliance leaders became the Lich King then. I personally think that makes it even worse. The guy's the Lich King now. That's cool. That's awesome. That's tragic at the same time, but it's cool to me. I mean, you guys get a character that was really important to become the leader of the damned. That's awesome in my eyes. But to others, it might be sad because they lose that character because he's completely different now. But he's still alive, technically. With the path that Blizzard is going on, they're likely to kill off more beloved Horde leaders. Sylvanas, as we just said, is likely to be killed off, and they really, really, really shouldn't. Listen, life isn't fair, and I get that, but this is a video game, and I would like for Blizzard to lay off killing Horde leaders. That is all I'm asking for here. We lost Thrall to retirement.
I must go my own way. I have a great deal of thinking to do. Agra will be at the Maelstrom shortly. Listen to her counsel. She has taught me so much.
We lost Karen to Garrosh.
And so I, who have lived my entire life with honor, die betrayed.
We lost Garrosh to his madness.
I have fought beside the Tauren, trolls, and others. You are nothing like them. They are no longer part of my horde.
And we lost Vol'jin to a random Velguard.
They're coming from behind! Cover the flame!
Warchiefs!
They've taken away almost 90% of the original Horde leaders from vanilla. Sylvanas is all that is left, and they're probably going to kill her because she is Warchief, and the Warchief is apparently cursed. Blizzard doesn't know anymore how to settle the title onto another without some kind of drama or action-packed scene. I mean, Thrall did that with Garrosh. He was just like, hey, I need to go do some stuff, save the world. I'm making you Warchief. I know you don't want this title. I know you don't believe in this title. But you need to take it right now, Garrosh. And Garrosh took it, of course. He loved it. Well, he also hated it, but still. For once, I'd like either a Warchief to remain Warchief longer than 2 expansions and be relevant, or pass it on to someone they believe who deserves it, without dying. We're almost done here. I'm just gathering up the rest of my thoughts. But let's talk about development on current leaders of the Horde. So far, we've got Sylvanas leading the Forsaken, Lor'themar leading the Blood Elves, Saurfang leading the Orcs, Galliwix leading the Goblins, G leading the Horde Pandaren, Rokan leading the Darkspear Trolls, and Bane leading the Tauren. Now, Sylvanas and Lor'themar, in my eyes, have enough development. They've been around as leaders the longest, and know what they're doing for the Horde. While as characters like Saurfang, Bane, Rokan, Galliwix, and G, they all need development as leaders of the Horde. Saurfang and Bane probably have the most story and notability right now, so really, that shouldn't be hard for Blizzard to do anything with them. I guess the problem for them is they're scared of being shouted out by the community that they're focusing on orcs again. One easy fix is to focus on all races of the Alliance and the Horde, like they did with classes. I guess this isn't so much of a rant but request for these two, but I mean, Bane should have had a development in High Mountain, but they scrapped that too. I don't know, I understand why they did that, because Rathian was mainly involved, but they could have fixed it. Rokan has story, but he's still very fresh and new. Do something with him, or just have him assist with it, bringing Vol'jin back. I love Rokan, but you're a very mixed bag for me right now. He really just... He was made leader of the Horde via a Blizz developer saying, yeah, he's a leader of the Horde. He's leading the Darkspear right now. I really wish they did something like some kind of quest line telling us that, or some sort of mention in a class campaign, or I don't know, something. Galliwix needs some serious development. If we weren't losing leaders left and right now, I'd be pointing my fingers and going, kill this guy off, please, and replace him. But I don't want another Horde leader killed off right now. Galliwix needs that development. G-Firepaw's a cool dude, but he has, like, no voice and no action with the Horde. He shares the same fate as Galliwix, where they only touched him in the starting zone. But, just, why is Galliwix, like... You think they could do something with Galliwix. You think they could do something with G, but they haven't. Galliwix isn't really even in the game. Like, you see him bits and pieces there. You see him in the Rogue campaign. You see him, like I said, in Siege of Orgrimmar in his starting zone. But that's really it. The guy needs to be in the zone. He needs to be involved somehow. And it's really just sad that these two characters, G and Galliwix, who are the most recently added Horde leaders, not talking about being replaced, but recently added racial leaders, and they almost do nothing. They do nothing. It's not even almost. It's sad. You've got all these characters who have, as leaders of the Horde, you can do something besides kill them off in a dramatic and over-the-top way, Blizzard. I know you love the Game of Thrones style things right now, but calm down. I don't want some of them to be blank slates or nobodies for years. You did a fantastic job with Orgrimmar in Mist of Pandaria. You can definitely do that again with Galliwix or Bane or G or Saurfang or anyone. And another thing, don't think you can only develop them by making them Warchief. You don't need to make Galliwix leader of the entire Horde to teach him a valuable lesson of life or anything. Please, for the love of God, don't make Galliwix Warchief. I know you gave him a new model, but come on, Blizzard, please don't do that. I'm okay with Bane, Saurfang, even Sylvanas as Warchief, but not that guy. No. Just no. Too selfish. Last thing I want to talk about is the Horde involvement. When I look back at expansions like Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm, Mist of Pandaria, even Warlords of Draenor, I see the colors of red and blue clashing for dominance, or just working together to take down a greater enemy. People might argue that the Horde had plenty of focus in Cata and MOP, but I played Alliance in MOP and I saw plenty of attention placed on both sides, but that's me. Now in Legion, this isn't the case, and in fact, it's almost pushed this side of things. Now I understand at this point in time, the focus is on classes rather than factions. That part I do understand, and I will not hold Blizzard accounted for. They did have Anduin and Sylvanas cinematics, but the Horde got theirs at the start, and the Alliance had a quest line and something more to do during the Broken Shore. Not salty at all. Not salty. However, one thing I have noticed is the lack of Horde characters' involvement, even with the more neutral characters like Thrall and Eitrig, etc. While characters like Khadgar, a son of Lothar, and the Draenei's leader, Velen, are being primarily focused on, two very neutral, yet still Alliance-type characters. And then in the coming 7.3, again warning with spoilers, Turalyon and Illyria are returning to the scene. These characters are all neutral, but all have a very Alliance feel to each of them. I know currently in the PDR, Liadrin and Silgrin, is that how you pronounce him? Silgrin? I don't know, he's a Nightborn, are supposedly there to represent the Horde. Silgrin being a Nightborn, curiously, and Liadrin being a Blood Elf Paladin, or Blood Knight. To me, that's really only one Horde character compared to the four we just mentioned. We should have characters like Eitrig present with us on Argus. He was a friend to Tyrion, who was recently lost to the Legion on the Broken Shore. It'd be nice to see an Orc again, one that is neutral. It's still the PDR, and some time will tell if they add more characters to the scene, hopefully more Horde characters, like I just mentioned. I am praying, hoping that Blizzard returns focus to both sides of the factions. More importantly to me, they spread fairness around for each. I want to see the Horde characters again, while also see Alliance characters in action. I want to see characters I like, and I want to see them interact in a certain way. I can't really explain it the certain ways that I want them to, but it would just be lovely to see our Horde characters again. I miss them deeply, I do, because right now it's just an Alliance fest in my eyes. That's my opinion. You're entitled to your own. You can say, I've seen plenty of Horde characters this expansion, I don't know what you're talking about, but the way I've been playing it, yeah, you have Horde characters and Alliance characters and neutral characters in your class campaign, but I'm talking about 7.3's finale here. I know I'm ranting here, friends. I know I might be sounding harsh on Blizzard, but I don't want to see more Horde leaders be killed off. I'm not demanding Blizzard here to start killing off Alliance leaders either, because I know how it feels to lose beloved characters to the onslaught of writing. Maybe Blizzard won't kill off Sylvanas next. Maybe Blizzard will bring Vol'jin back from the dead, and maybe have Thrall retake his seat as leader of the Orcs. That's really down to them doing so, and I wouldn't mind seeing it. I'd love to see development on current leaders without killing them, or making them Warchief of the Horde. But I think we need to make that stand. I think we need to have our voices be heard. If Blizzard hears us, they might just settle down on killing our leaders. Anyways, guys, thanks for hearing me rant. If you want to hear me talk about more what I want to see or not see in this type of way, tell me in the comments, and I'll see you all next time. See ya.